China's big tech crackdown is about protecting the Communist Party, and investing in companies with a footprint in China would be subject to risks. The most important finance news today by MasterDigest. Fed says economic recovery remains on track despite COVID-19 surge. The US economic recovery is still on track. Despite a rise in coronavirus infections, the Federal Reserve said on Wednesday in a new policy statement that remained upbeat and flagged ongoing talks about the eventual withdrawal of monetary policy support. Crypto taxes will partially fund Biden administration's new infrastructure bill. President Biden has unveiled a new infrastructure bill aimed at boosting the economy, saying that some of the cost will be paid by tax enforcement on crypto. The Biden administration has published a new infrastructure bill, one that will raise billions through crypto taxation. The White House published a statement called the Historic Bipartisan Infrastructure Deal on July 28, calling it a once-in-a-generation investment. Toward the end of the statement, the administration notes that the costs will be offset by strengthening tax enforcement on cryptocurrencies, among other things. The Biden administration had previously been rumored to be working on a broad regulatory framework for the crypto market, but it has not offered any updates since those initial reports. This, in combination with remarks by SEC Chairman Gary Gensler and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, suggests that authorities soon declare guidelines. EU economy chief urges end to muddling through with budget rules. Brussels cannot carry on fudging its own rules to blunt their negative impact, says Paolo Gentiloni. Brussels cannot afford to carry on fudging the application of its own fiscal rules to blunt their negative impact, the EU's economics chief said, as he called for a far-reaching legislative overhaul to help drive stronger public investment and growth. Paolo Gentiloni said he wanted renewed and reviewed EU budget rules that would provide an incentive to public investment in the green and digital transitions, while fostering stability and durable economic growth. Otherwise, the risk is that the European Commission will spend the next decade finding creative ways to bypass its own rules, which is not the best solution. The Commission is due to restart this autumn a consultation on how to amend the rules surrounding the Stability and Growth Pact. The budget framework is currently suspended because of the COVID-19 crisis, but the rules are likely to be reimposed in 2023, and there will be a fierce debate ahead of that over how they should be reformed. China's big tech crackdown is about protecting the Communist Party, states Daniel Howley, technology editor of Yahoo Finance. China is relentlessly cracking down on tech giants ranging from ride-sharing firm Didi to internet giant Tencent and Alibaba affiliate Ant Financial Group. Along the way, billions of dollars have been washed away as Chinese stocks tanked amid concerns that what were once easy growth opportunities are now high-risk bets. The swift crackdown follows the meteoric growth of China's biggest tech companies and leaders who don't always toe the party line, like Alibaba's Jack Ma. The move to rein in Chinese tech giants also comes after the US passed a law that bars foreign companies from trading on US exchanges unless they surrender to audits. That law, the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act, could stoke the Chinese government's fears that data on its citizens could end up in the hands of its biggest political rival. The party is likely over for Alibaba, Tencent, Didi, the shopping platform Meituan, and other tech companies that threaten the Communist Party's authority. China's Communist Party is dedicated to control, whether that's through state media, the Great Firewall that blocks out huge swathes of the internet, or restrictions on free speech. China's big tech companies have to abide by the same set of rules, but as they've grown in size and wealth, they've created new challenges to the government's authority. Chinese companies collect massive amounts of data on their users, eclipsing the capabilities of even their Western cohorts. Didi, for instance, collects GPS, traffic personal user information, facial recognition data, and even recordings of passengers' in-car audio. Morgan Stanley has raised the base pay for first and second-year bankers in its investment banking and global capital market divisions, a person familiar with the matter told Reuters, following a trend set by Wall Street peers. First-year bankers in both the divisions would now earn a minimum of $100,000, while second-year bankers' base pay would now begin at $105,000, increasing the pay by $15,000 at both levels, said the person who declined to be identified. The raises were announced internally on Wednesday and will come into effect from August the 1st. The hike was based on a review of annual compensation, the report added, in order to adjust pay with market conditions as part of the bank's normal course of business. Wall Street banks have been introducing incentives to younger staff after a group of first-year analysts at Goldman Sachs Group complained of long hours and unrealistic deadlines in an internal survey in March. Google props up Nasdaq after biggest drop in over 2 months. The Nasdaq rose on Wednesday as record quarterly earnings from Google parent Alphabet helped heavyweight technology stocks steady after their worst sell-off in more than 2 months in the previous session. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 51.4 points, or 0.15% at the open to 35,109.95. The S&P 500 rose 1.5 points, or 0.03% at the open to 4,402.95, while the Nasdaq Composite rose 55.1 points, or 0.38% to 14,715.664 at the opening bell. Barclays pays out more than $1 billion to investors as profits rebound. Barclays has increased the size of its bonus pool by 45%, with top bankers in line for a combined payout of more than £1 billion after a rebound in profits as the economy improves and pandemic restrictions recede. Setting out the details in an update to the London Stock Exchange, the bank said it had ring-fenced the cash, which covers just the first half year, to compensate its star bankers next spring when payouts are usually made. Barclays declined to say how many staff will share in the pool, which is reserved for the best performers, but it has around 83,000 employees around the world, 448 of which earned more than £1 million in total pay last year. Employees have another 6 months to build up their final bonus pot for the year, which is likely to blow past the £1.6 billion paid out for the whole of 2020, when the UK was gripped by the COVID pandemic. Legendary New York rock band Blondie and crypto art pioneer duo Hackatao announced their collaboration and the release of the first in a series of animated digital artwork, Hack the Borders, on August the 6th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This unique artistic partnership connects the two very different art scenes from which their creators have hailed. It is a present-day manifestation of the punk rock movement, fittingly in the form of crypto art. Released through the digital art online auction platform Nifty Gateway, Hack the Borders nods to one of the greatest art pioneers of all time, Andy Warhol. Blondie frontwoman Debbie Harry and her friend Warhol created an everlasting cultural moment with the Commodore Amiga in 1985, as Harry became the subject of his very first digital portrait, an image that is just as significant today as it was then. 36 years later, Hackatao and Blondie have joined forces to create their own one-of-a-kind artwork, which will drop on what would be Warhol's 93rd birthday on August the 6th. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and consider subscribing. Also, share this video with your friends if you feel so, and please put your opinion down in the comments. If you want to know more about finances, please check the links below.